I am reading the story titled The Ride of My Life. Click, click, click. We continued to go up. My heart was pounding. Click, click, click. It felt like ages since we started our journey upward. And then we fell, straight into darkness. Back in 2008, I got the best news that a kid could get. I was going to Disney World. I'd never been before, and in the months leading up to the trip, I was nothing but excited. I was ecstatic to go on all the rides and to eat cartoon inspired food. Yet, it wasn't until our second day there that I felt uneasy. A monster of heights and speed, enclosed in a dark chasm, awaited me. Now, I had already been on a few roller coasters there, but Space Mountain was different. It's one thing to go on a roller coaster and see what's coming up ahead, but it's another to go on a roller coaster in complete darkness. That was what frightened me. Both my brother and my sister were too young to go on it, so it was just going to be me and my dad. At the beginning of the day, I tried to maintain my excitement for going on the ride, but as the line got shorter and shorter, I could feel the butterflies. "How are you feeling?" my dad asked, clearly more excited for the ride than I was. "Excited," I said, trying to convince myself I wasn't really terrified, but there was no amount of self encouragement that could ease my fears of Space Mountain. The walk from the entrance of the park to the ride was nothing short of nerve wracking. In my mind, I was juggling whether the ride would be worth it or if I should just go on something else instead. When my dad and I finally got in line, I was looking around for kids younger than me. If they were going on it, how bad could it be, right? For anyone who has been scared of a ride before, they know exactly what I was feeling while standing in that line. At that point, it was too late to turn back and call it quits. I was going on that ride whether I wanted to or not. As time ticked away, my dad and I got closer and closer to the cart. "It's almost time," he said, which only made me feel more nervous. Now, if I could see what the roller coaster looked like, I wouldn't be as scared. But just like in the horror movies, it's what you don't see that's the scariest. Finally, I was standing in front of the cart. It was go time. I can remember getting into that cart and seeing close to nothing. I could only imagine what this coaster would look like if the lights were on. And then it started. We went up, then suddenly down. One second we were going left, the next right. I squinted my eyes to try and predict what would happen next, but it was a surprise to me every time the coaster dropped. I could hardly make out my dad's silhouette next to me, but I couldn't believe that he had his hands up. I was afraid that if I put my hands up, I would shatter them on the steel beam above me. Up then down, left then right, all in complete darkness. I had no idea how long we had been on the ride. My sense of time seemed lost in the darkness of Space Mountain. Every time I thought the coaster was leveling out, ready to bring us back into sunlight, we dropped again. To me, this felt like a cruel joke. My dad, on the other hand, was having the time of his life. When light hit my face, I knew the ride was over. Yet, as the ride slowed to its final stop, I couldn't help but feel excited. The fears that had enveloped me on that ride had calmed. That morning, I never would have expected to enjoy Space Mountain as much as I did. Half an hour later, my dad and I heard the familiar click, click, click of the coaster going up. And just like that, we plunged back into darkness.